bad for me, but all of a sudden I have an extra hour of time this morning, which is great because I have been wanting to do this for a few weeks. I know I made this video not that long ago. It was only 4 months ago, but I feel like the composition of my library has really changed since then. I've been reading almost exclusively from my library for the past 4 months. I moved, so I got rid of a bunch of books, and I think the percentage has really gone up. I forgot to check the percentage from the last video, so I will, maybe in the end, we'll come back around at the end when I'm doing totals. I'll look up what the original percentage was, and we can compare it with the new percentage of books I've read or have not read. I have my little sheet ready to be filled out. My books are now mostly in one place, which is fun. Here, and I have a little stack in my bedroom. So I'm going to count these. I'm going to count those. I'm going to go through my list of books that are lent out, which is not very many at the moment. And we will see if I have worked towards my goal of reading my library. Is that all I have to say? I think so. Thank you for watching. And please like, please subscribe. And I'm going to start counting. Okay. Totals. Exciting. Okay, let's start with the overall total and then I'll break it down for those of you who are really invested in this. Okay, so before I had read 351 of my 639 books, which means I had read 55% of my library. Now, currently, I have read 352 of 614 books, which means I've read 57% of my library. I've gone up, but it looks like I have not read any more. It only looks like I've gotten rid of books, which isn't true, but I have gotten rid of books. I guess I've gotten rid of a lot of books I've read. But that's funny. It looks like I've only read one book from my library if you look at the overall total. Okay, but if we look at fiction section, okay, I had read 55% of my fiction section before. I am now at 58% of the fiction section. I have read 225 of my 386 books. Which is much higher. Okay, actually I want to say this number. Before 4 months ago, I had read 189 of 342. Now I have read 225 out of 386. So there has been, that's like 36 books, fiction books, that I have now read that I hadn't read 4 months ago. So either that means that I've read that many, which I possibly have, or a few of them, I may have found an old book that I read before, but I didn't own. That might have been a couple, but mostly I think I've read a big chunk. That feels better than the other total. Oh my gosh, coughing. Okay. Now for nonfiction, I was at 49%. I had read 109 out of 222, 49%. I am now at 56%. So I've read 127 out of 228. That's good. So I've added a bunch more to that total as well. It's weird how the differences completely go away when I add them all together. I am glad we have a new total / I'm reminded of how much I've actually read. It is still just barely over half, 57%. I got some work to do. Oh, already when I look at my library, I feel like I know it a lot better. I think a lot of the books have been rereads as well, rereads from a long time ago. So they kind of were feeling a little unfamiliar. But now they're feeling much more familiar, but that will not be reflected in an increase in numbers. Just an increase in feeling. I wonder what my goal is. I don't feel right now like I have an obscene amount of books that are unread. For a while, I was feeling like I was drowning in my library and there was too much. Now I don't feel that way, but I've read barely over half. But I think that we could really, I don't know if there's a place I want to sit, like a goal that I kind of always want to keep my personal library at. Part of me wants to kind of say 90, but that doesn't feel like very many options for when I want to read more. But I guess it depends on what the overall total is. I have like around 600 books. That's still 60 books I can pick from whenever I want a new book. I love having a little selection. And that's still a very large selection. And I also, like, I could always reread the ones that are good. So it's not like I only have 60 books to choose from. I have 600 to choose from. I am going to continue to pare this down and read from the books I have for a lot of reasons. I don't want to be wasteful. Two, there's really good books on here that I really want to know. A lot of delight awaiting me. And it's fun to know intimately all the objects you own, you know? At least fun for me. I am excited for my book club is making a new curriculum soon, and I've only suggested books that I already own. And I will most likely try to vote for books that I only own. So that'll be good, because that is something that I would have to buy new books for, and I'm trying not to buy too many new books. I did pretty good this year. This is one of the first years I've kept track of all the books that I've read, and I'm going to make a video closer to the end of the year about all the books I've read, all the books I've bought. But it was still a little surprising how many I actually bought when it feels like I hadn't, like I'd hardly bought any. Like I felt like I've been so strict with myself. And so I think in previous years, I must have been going crazy. So keeping track of that has been very helpful. Oh, but I think that is all I really need to say. Actually, also, the only thing that I am looking to the future that I have to buy books for, that I want to buy books for, is next year's Literary Life curriculum, the podcast. Often I have at least a few of them, but I do read every book that they do. So I can see my library numbers going up in that department. But, oh. Okay. I think I have yapped enough. I think that's all I want to say. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope that if the time changed where you are, you knew about it, unlike me. Or maybe you were pleasantly surprised. I did enjoy the surprise hour this morning. Okay. Thank you for being here. Please like, please subscribe. There's a bunch of links in the bottom for discount codes and ways you can support me. I will talk to you very soon.